Hey pups, RP here, and it's October. So that means a whole month of spoopy, scary skeletons of creepy awesomeness. Yeah, I've been playing Undertale way too much, as you can probably see from my channel. And to start off the Halloween season, we'll be looking at the 20 creepy Pokedex entries. Note that I'm rating all the entries I believe to be the creepiest. If you have an entry that should be on this list, please share it in the comments below, and let's get started. Starting with number 20, we have Cubone. Chances are if you've seen or looked up creepy Pokedex entries, Cubone's added on this list, and you should be very familiar with its entry. It wears the skull of its dead mother on its head. When it becomes lonesome, it is said to cry loudly. Don't get me wrong, that's extremely creepy, but I always found it more sad and depressing than creepy. Especially with Team Rocket killing the Mother Marowak. Team Rocket is so mean. I just want to give Cubone a hug now. Moving on to number 19 is Yamask. Again, another one I find more sad than creepy. Each of them carries a mask that used to be its face when it was human. Sometimes they look at it and cry. Still creepy, but I always found entries like Yamask's and Cubone's disturbingly depressing. Also, how did it go from a human to a Pokemon? Is it like with Pokemon Mystery Dungeon? Or did Giratina just suddenly lay a curse on these people for whatever reason? Or Darkrai, or... weird. For number 18 we have Phantump. And keeping with the sad, disturbing theme, as adorable as this Pokemon is... well, let's look at its entry. According to old tales, these Pokemon are stumps possessed by the spirits of children who died while lost in the forest. No! Not only are we using humans in Pokemon battles, but we are also using freaking kids as well! No! Nintendo! Why? That's not nice! And ironically enough, moving on to number 17, we have Bannet. This thing is practically the equivalent of Chucky, Romper the doll, and Annabelle the doll fused into one in the Pokemon world. A doll that became a Pokemon over its grudge from being junked. It seeks the child that disowned it. Hatred and grudges are both very powerful things, and it doesn't help with its mega form. That thing, it could slice you into pieces. I want to hug it, but it also cut me open. I am so conflicted right now. Taking the spotlight for number 16 is Litwick. Another cute Pokemon with an extremely dark entry. While shining a light and pretending to be a guide, it leeches out the life force of any who follow it. That is so mean! Don't trust it. It's cute, but it will bring death to you. And legit turn you into a zombie! Or just kill you, either way, just... Moving on to number 15, we have Parasect. This thing is like The Last of Us meets Pokemon, which scares me, but also makes me feel bad for it all at once. The bug coast is drained of energy by the mushrooms on its back. They appear to do all the thinking. The poor thing is lifeless and can no longer think for itself. The face of Paris is no more. Parasect is now controlled by an infectious zombie mushroom. Or a mushroom zombie, or whatever the heck it is. Just a zombie fungus infection. Moving on to number 14 is Mimikyu. As much as I love Mimikyu, its entry is legit something out of a creepypasta or a horror movie. Its actual appearance is unknown. A scholar who saw what was under its rag was overwhelmed by terror and died from shock. That's horrible! Again, as much as I love Mimikyu, that's a horrible way to die. And plus, I would not survive because curiosity would get the better of me and I would just legit die. At number 13, we have Gourgeist. As pretty as this Pokemon is, its entry is not so pretty. I've always thought Gourgeist was one of the prettiest Pokemon in the world because it's a freaking jack-o'-lantern cat thing. But I thought wrong. It wraps its prey in its hair-like arms. It sings joyfully as it observes the suffering of its prey. This is just Nope mixed with Halloween, and now I'm conflicted because on one end, I want to get all aboard the Nope train, but on the other end, it's Halloween, and I freaking like Halloween, and yeah, I don't know. If it wraps you in its hair arms, you're screwed. If it sings, you're screwed. Either way, you're screwed when it comes to this Pokemon. Taking the spot for number 12 is Darumaka. This one is more disgusting and disturbing than creepy to me, so let's just read its entry. Darumaka's droppings are hot, so people used to put them in their clothes to keep themselves warm. In advance, I'm not judging anyone who, that has this kind of thing, but just so you know, I'm not judging you. But unless you have a weird scat fetish, that's really gross and effed up! I would rather freeze to death than put actual fire monkey turds in my clothes. Like, if I'm on a snowy mountain, I am absolutely freezing cold. Darumaka walks up to me and offers me its fire monkey turds. I'm just like, no effing thank you. I would rather freeze to death up here. And die. Moving on to number 11, we have Lampent. This one makes me sad and I'm very uncomfortable all at once. The spirit, it absorbs fuel its baleful fire. It hangs around hospitals waiting for people to pass on. Why? Why can't it just go to a freaking graveyard instead of a freaking hospital? It's like, oh, people are dead. Time to have a hospital feast of sorts. Like, if I'm going to the doctor to get, like, a flu shot or something, and it's just, like, hanging out, just being like, hey, you gonna die today? I'd just be like, no, I'm here to get my freaking flu shot. I'm here because I have a throat problem. I'm here because I have strep throat. I'm here because I have a cold. I'm here because I have the freaking stomach flu. I am not going to die. I want to get my medicine and get my flu shot done and over with and go home and watch anime. That's exactly what would happen if I encountered Lampent at a hospital. Moving on to number 10, we have Pylo Sand. A living sandcastle, at least for me, sounds cool in retrospect, but buried beneath the castle are masses of dried up bones from those whose vitality it has drained. This thing buries people alive, eats them, and drains their freaking life force. If this thing was real, I would never want to go to the beach ever again. Then again, I almost hardly ever get out of the house ever so often, so let's just move on to number freaking 9, which is Drifloon. Yet another cute Pokemon that has a very unsettling entry. Stories go that it grabs the hands of small children and drags them away to the afterlife. It dislikes heavy children. It's a kidnapper and a child murderer! And it hates fat kids! That is so mean!
And I'm not fat, I'm big bone.
Balloons are supposed to be nice and happy. Drifloon is neither of the two. Nintendo, what is wrong with you making happy things and joyful nice things turn dark and just not happy? Taking the spot for number 8 is Hypno. Ever imagine what Family Guy's Herbert the Pervert would look like as a Pokemon? Well, Hypno's your answer. It carries a pendulum-like device. There was once an incident in which it took away a child it hypnotized. Hypno always made me feel uncomfortable and unsafe for this reason, and the fact that it's really creepy looking. No, Hypno, please leave. I'm not interested in anything you're selling. Moving on to number 7, we have Primeape. I've always thought Primeape was kind of funny looking, but its entry... let's just read it. It has been known to become so angry that it dies as a result. Its face looks peaceful in death, however. That's depressingly morbid. These things are in never-ending agony. Let's just move on to number freaking 6, which is Haunter. Haunter by far is one of my favorite ghost-type Pokemon, but its entry gives me the chills. Its tongue is made of gas. If flicked, its victim starts shaking constantly until death eventually comes. How the fluff did Charmander survive that? Also, if Haunter wants to show me some love, I'd only want hugs from it, no tongue kisses. I want to live, man! Taking the spot for number 5 is Frostlass. I love Frostlass, and always thought it was pretty, but its entry is not very nice. The soul of a woman lost on a snowy mountain possessed an icicle, becoming this Pokemon. The food it most relishes is the souls of men. I mean, that kind of makes sense, because It is based on the yokai Yuki Onna. Moving on to number 4, we have Absol. When I see this Pokemon, I automatically think of cuteness, but its entry tells me otherwise. Long ago, suspicions were spread about it, saying it brought disaster. This fed a hatred of it, and it was driven deep into the mountains. Okay, not only is that scary, but super sad as well! Absol can't help it that it's a destruction Pokemon. I mean, come on, it's so cute! And its Mega Evolution is so freaking beautiful! For the number 3 spot, we have Beware. At first, Beware seems like an adorable, sweet teddy bear Pokemon, but its entry is just full of badness, and not in a good way. This Pokemon has a habit of hugging its companions. Many trainers have left this world after their spines were squeezed by its hugs. Oh my Arceus! Hugs of death! Hugs are supposed to be nice. This is horrible. Beware, please don't hug me. I already have a history of back problems. I don't need it to be my death. Moving on to number 2 is Metapod. This Pokemon may be as useless as Magikarp, but it has a good reason. Its shell is filled with soft innards. It doesn't move much because of the risk it might carelessly spill its innards out. I have no words. Well, at least it was hard and right. Now before we get to number 1, a few quick things. I want to give a quick honorable mention to Yolveta, and you'll see why it isn't on the list as number 1 in the first place. But still, it is Pokemon of Death and Doom and will destroy anything. It just does not care. And secondly, I want you pups to answer the question of the day, which is, which Pokemon scares you the most? Please share it in the comments below. And finally, for number 1, we have Gengar. Again, I was originally going to put Yolveta at number 1, but Gengar is just pure, dark, unadulterated nightmare fuel. And it's a freaking killer! Should you feel yourself attacked by a sudden chill, it is evidence of an approaching Gengar. There is no escape. Give up. There is no hope of trying to run away from it. You're screwed either way. That is unless you have a cross enchant, "The power of Arceus compels you!" Then you're safe. So this is kind of fun to do. I hope you pups enjoyed this super creepy video. I also hope I didn't traumatize anyone. If I did, I am so very sorry. If not, you've got Courage of Steel. Today's fan art is by RealFan1987. A late birthday gift, but it's still very lovely and super cute. If you want your fan art featured, my social links are in the description. And if you want to support what I do, please become a patron to my Patreon today. And as always, I will see you next time, my little puppies. This is our pyramid. You to stay awesome, stay strong, and stay beautiful.